Hey everyone, we are embarking on, I think, my least favorite event because it has always been such a messy event in my opinion. So 6-star territories are out and we have a variety of different territories this time. I think we have 5 that are available with different S-class items. So the S-class items are great and so are the cakes at the end, but with how often territories crash, and depending on who you have in your region, it can be a very challenging event. So we already have one territory, Hunter's Base, where we're going to get ice cream cones every 2 hours. Now, it's only 35 S-class items, so I do wish it was on the hour every hour instead of every 2 hours. And with the event only being 30 hours and you get them every 2 hours, and it's only 35 items, that means if you held one territory the whole time, you are getting 525 S-class items. And when you need 10,000 S-class items in order to get the S-class tune, that is only 5.25%. So it's a very small reward overall for the amount of effort that you actually have to put into it, especially if you're in an active region where there's a lot of factions competing for these S-class, so 6-star territories, especially if you have any larger factions that are, quote, whale factions, end quote. It just becomes kind of messy. Like I know in some regions where it's pretty dead, there have been some factions that have just been able to hold all the 6-star territories the whole time. So for this event, honestly, the cream of a crop, in my opinion, is the end bonus where you get 250 red velvet cakes, because if you have the tunes that you need, exchanging those cakes for S-class items is a huge bonus, because 500 cakes plus a tune, or if it's an S-class tune, then it's only 250 cakes and you get 1,100 S-class items, or if you have both tunes and 1,000 red velvet cakes, then 3,200 S-class items. So as I'm going to show you, I'm quite a ways away from getting another S-class tune. I'm definitely going for Priya, and that's what my faction is working on. And there are some people in my faction who don't need the cones, but again, the major item at the end are the red velvet cakes because of the exchange rate. Something else that we're going to be looking at is possibly exchanging players with another faction. So if anyone in my faction already has S-class Priya but wants to work on Rolito, we might trade players where my player goes to that faction to get bullets and someone from their faction comes to ours in order to get cones. And now back to one of my biggest annoyances of this event. These red velvet cakes, although they're great, at the same time, they are terrible for free-to-play players and light spenders. Because lately, the tunes that you need in order to exchange them to get S-class items are all promo tunes. So unless you've gotten a lucky pull in the past, or have saved up coins for a while and were able to pull on them the next time they came around, you are kind of stuck. I have only been able to exchange, I think, 500 cakes 2 times in order to get a total of 2,200 S-class items, which is a lot less than what I could have gotten if I had the other tunes in order to make it a 2-for-1. Because as you see, I do have enough cakes that I could have done 1,000 cakes each time, and I would have gotten 6,400 S-class items total. So minus that from the 2,200, I ended up missing out on 4,200 S-class items, which is equal to 42% of an S-class tune, which would have been huge for me. For me, that's basically the Priya that I need at the moment. But even with all this frustration, I will say I am happy that I finally was able to pick up Deigo. Right now, he's just a 5-star. I haven't even been able to ascend him. I'm still leveling him up. But I was too excited to not try using him. So I have him set up right now with a stun on attack weapon with plus 40% defense and a huge bonus to AP when attacking. Even as a 5-star right now, I'm finding him to be very useful. And I've been kind of experimenting, so I've been running this team quite a bit with Deigo, Glenn, James, 6-star Priya, and Lily. But I have also tried by taking out Glenn and putting in Cole for some more protection because of his turn 1 taunt. So I'm just trying out a few things, trying to see what'll work and what won't work. I'm even tempted to try putting in Sean instead of James, just because if I can get Sean to rush on turn 3 after Deigo defense is down everyone and applies impair, use Glenn's attack up, well, I'm pretty sure I'm going to wipe out almost every single team, because Deigo, when he's a 6-star, can do minus 65% defense to everyone, plus that impair. So as long as there's no payback tune, I think I'll have a pretty good shot at having a turn 3 team with that combination. Right now, as you see, with the team being not completely developed yet, I'm usually losing a tune or two. And, I'm okay with that right now while I'm testing out different things with it and trying to find the flow. My goal is to have Deigo ready for the next war, but at the same time, I feel like I won't have the trainers I need in order to up both his active skill and his rush. But he should definitely be ready by the next regional war, cross-regional war that we have, and that one will contribute to our overall war score for trying to qualify for WOC, so that's when it really matters. Even seeing the way this team functions, with it being not completely done, maybe by the time next war comes around, I should have S-Class Priya, but then again, you never really know what'll happen, but I figure if I can get Priya ready and Deigo, I'm going to have a pretty good team where I should be able to attack most teams. Just because I'll have a lot of different assets with this team, I'll have a lot of different options to stun the enemy. Deigo can impair and defense down. Glenn can attack up and confuse as well as command. Priya, obviously her rush has impair as well as confuse on it when she attacks with her weapon, as long as her HP is over 75%, or when she becomes an S-Class, over 60%, that is days for 4 turns. And then James is just a heavy attack damage dealer. If I run Cole, I have a nice taunt option as well as attack down. If I run Sean, well, I don't really have anything except for pure power on him, but sometimes that might be enough. Instead of Glenn, I could also think about running Xander, because Xander has a great rush, which does, I think, minus 85% AP to an enemy and 100% AP to one teammate. His active skill is disarm and AP gain, so Xander's also a realistic option for me to use. And right now, while 6-star territories are going on, I don't have all the tunes that I would usually use, so I tried to sub in Bruce Allen Cooper actually, who is a decent support character and I think would work well in a team like this, just because he has an attack up and defense up ability, as well as AP drain on his rush. He's a neutralizer, and he has a confuse ability on his active skill. His final asset will be that he can hold a stun weapon. So it works fairly well for being a, not very well used team. I've never really used Bruce Allen Cooper before, but he does offer a fair amount of support. This type of team right now would definitely not work against a red heavy team, because I feel like if you had Krista on defense, she would one-shot Deigo or Bruce Allen Cooper or maybe even Lily. What I am realizing the more that I raid and friendly raid is that I have a lot of options for subbing in other tunes based on what I come up against. I really do enjoy Deigo at the moment, and I know I'm going to like him even more as a 6-star, just because, when I max out his rush, he's going to be able to impair everyone for, I think it's 2 turns, and the defense down is key. If I run Glenn, then I have that attack up and command. But Bruce Allen Cooper doesn't do a bad job either, especially at the moment, because that defense buff is actually really useful, especially when I'm running Deigo as a 5-star tune. Now, I'm not expecting to be able to make an auto raid team or an auto war team, but I am hoping that I'm going to come up with a turn 2 to 4 attack team, because I feel like that'll just make me so much more effective, and I'll feel like I'm actually contributing to my faction, because there are times where I definitely feel like I should be pulling more of my weight, and it gets challenging because I don't spend any money on this game, not on coin packs, not on the daily Survivors Club or the coins that come in daily for the monthly subscription. So I need to make up for that in activity and placement in events in order to get some decent rewards. And as always, thank you again for watching and listening to my videos.